We're on lesson 3 of chapter 1, which will solve equations with variables on both sides. First, we're going to use inverse operations to group terms. Then we're going to solve equations with variables on both sides. Then we'll solve a real-world problem. Here's an example of an equation with variables on both sides. Tim's book club costs $15 to join and charges $2 per month. Sarah's book club costs $10 to join and charges $3 per month. After how many months will both clubs cost the same price? So we need to find the number of months, right? That would become our variable. So we make m our variable, for example, and here's how we construct our equation. We have one book club on the left side, and we have the other book club on the right side. Tim's book club costs $15 to join. Reason I don't have a variable by that because it doesn't matter how many months you stay, you're still going to pay that $15. And here's where the variable comes in, $2 per month. So if the months were 3, we would multiply 2 times 3. If it were 5, we would do 2 times 5. Sarah's book club then costs $10 to join, so that doesn't matter how many months you're there, so that's not being multiplied times the number of months. But it's $3 per month. So if she stayed 3 months, it would be 3 times 3, which is 9. So how can we solve this? Well, to solve this, we can get the variables on one side of the equal sign. We can get these numbers on the other side, and we'd be able to figure out the number of months that would make this equal each other. So for example, if we got rid of this 2m by subtracting 2m over here, and then also doing the same thing over here, that would cross these out, leaving just 0. 3m minus 2m is 1m. Then we can get the 1m by itself by getting rid of this 10 over here. Positive 10 plus negative 10. That would turn into 0. Do the same thing on the left side of the equal sign. 15 minus 10 is 5. So the number of months, or just m, would equal 5. So after 5 months, they would be exactly the same. Let's actually test our work and see if that's correct. 2 times 5, so if it was $5 per month, that'd be $10, plus 15 is $25. 3 times 5, which would be $15 for the monthly fees, plus the $10 to join would also be 25. So we did find the number of months that would make this correct. So now we can use inverse operations to group terms. So it says group the terms with variables on one side of the equal sign, then simplify. So we need to move all the variables to one side of that equal sign. So for example, we already have the 6 all by itself over here, but we have 4m plus 12 over here. So what it means by inverse here is that we have a positive 4. If we subtract 4 from that, 4m, this would equal 0m. And 0 times m is just going to be 0. So when we subtract by 4m, they pretty much cancel each other out. But whatever we do to one side of the equal sign, we have to do to the other side. So 6m minus 4m equals 2m. So 2m equals nothing over here. Remember, these cancel out. And we have a positive 12 left. So 2m equals positive 12, or just 12. Divide both sides by 2 to find out what 1m equals. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 1m equals 12 divided by 2, so that's 6. And you really don't need this 1 here, it's just m by itself. M equals 6. So now we have negative 7x minus 198 equaling 5x. Let's get rid of the variable over here, so we just have variables on this side. Well, the inverse of a negative 7x would be a positive 7x. Negative 7 plus positive 7 would give me 0x, which would cancel these out. Since I added 7x to the left side of the equal sign, I add 7x to the right side. So these cancel out and turn into 0. I have negative 198 equaling 5 plus 7 is 12. So negative 198 equals 12 times x. I could find out what 1x equals by dividing by 12. Negative 198 divided by 12 is negative 16. 12 divided by 12 is 1. So it's negative 16 equals 1x. So we have now solved for the variable. So now it tells us to solve for the variable again. 5n equals 3n plus 26. Let's solve this by getting rid of that 3n on this side. So 5 minus 3 would be 2n equals, this cancels each other out, So plus 26 or positive 26. Divide both sides by 2 to find 1n. N equals 13. We have 19 plus 7n equals negative 2n plus 37. So here we have to move the numbers onto one side and the variables on the other. Let's move the variables to the left and the numbers to the right. So if we add 2 to get rid of the variables over here, that would give us 9n, and that's on the left side of the equal sign. And we want to get rid of the number on the left side of the equal sign and move it over here. So if we subtract 19, this would turn into 0, and since we did minus 19 on the left, we do that on the right. 37 minus 19 equals 18. So therefore 9n equals 18. Divide both sides by 9 to get n by itself. So n would equal 18 divided by 9, which is 2. Here we have 5/9 times x equals 4/9 times x plus 9. So I can turn this into 0x, or just 0 or nothing, by subtracting 4/9 x from this positive 4/9 x. These would turn into 0x, which would be 0. We subtract 4/9 from this side as well, 4/9 x. So these would cancel out, turning into 0. And 5/9 minus 4/9 would be 1/9. So we have 1/9 x equaling 9, positive 9. So our goal here is to turn 1/9 x into 1x. And one way we can do that is to multiply times the reciprocal. Remember, 1/9 times 9 over 1, that's going to equal 1, and that's what we want. So if we multiply 9 over 1 times this side, times 9 over 1 on this side, or just 9 really, then we could solve. So these cancel out, leaving us with just 1. So 1x, x, equals 9 times 9, which is 81. Let's solve a real-world problem. It says Mari can buy a video game console for $72.45 and then rent a game for $7.95 per week. Or she can rent a console and the same game for a total of $22.44 per week. How many weeks would Mari need to rent both the video game and the console to pay as much as she would if she had bought the console and rented the video game instead? So this is what we need to solve for. We need to find weeks that would make this deal the same as this deal. So we'll make W for weeks here. So we need to have this deal over here on the left side of the equal sign and this deal over here on the right side of the equal sign. So if Mari buys that $72.45 console, she's not going to pay for that every single week. That's a one-time thing, right? So it's $72.45, and that's not with a W. So we're going to take this W off for now. That's just by itself. But we're going to add how much she pays per week. So she pays $7.95 per week. So $7.95 times the number of weeks, W. So that needs to equal the other deal. So if she rents the console and the game for a total of $22.44 per week, that would be $22.44 times the number of weeks, or W. So we need to have this equal this. Well, we can get the variable numbers on the same side here. Since we already have the non-variable number over here, let's get rid of this number so we have only this variable number. So we have positive 7.95W. We could subtract 7.59W from both sides. So this would cancel out and turn into 0. So we have 72.45 equaling 14.49W. So to solve for W, we can divide by 14.49. And that would find us the value for 1 week. So 72.45 divided by 14.49 equals 5. So the number of weeks would be 5. So we'll say 5 weeks. So after 5 weeks, she's going to pay exactly the same amount for renting both as for buying the console and renting the game. So she can make a decision based on this. If she was going to play the game and the console for a total of 10 weeks, it would actually be cheaper to buy it and rent at this cheaper price than to rent at this more expensive price here per week without buying it.